So this evening I'll be discussing some ideas about culturally mapping the specific in an international context there. This talks will be like one of his Welsh roads there. So it won't be straight, but like a long bendy meander across the whole range of sort of my ideas there. If you've ever put your sat-navs on from one place to another, you get put in all these weird little cul-de-sacs there. So this sort of will be like a windy journey which will eventually get to some sort of destination right there. The title of the show is Dark Matters there. And dark matter is a scientific idea concerning stuff of the universe which is invisible there. Apparently 90% of the universe is invisible to sight there. And I'm interested in sort of bringing visibility through visual art and photography to show what else is out there. Like the first slide right there, the holiday in Wales there. Anybody on holiday here? Well, but we're going on a holiday for the next hour or so to the cultural limits and to the heart of darkness there. So stick around for the charabanc for a little bit as well. Also, I collect Welsh language record covers. I'm interested in sort of cheesy Welsh type of subject matter as sort of inspiration for my work there. Welsh records from the 1960s is about kind of Wales becoming modern and sort of a European there. And on here what we've got right there is a sort of gentleman probably on holiday with his wife there, and in this valley, the valley is kind of nice and sunny and bright there, but yet on his canvas there it's painting black. So it's quite interesting, this type of psychology which happens where people take their heads and their hearts around with them wherever they go to there. So even though it's a nice sunny day, this guy is just projecting blankness and bleakness onto the world there. And maybe that sort of has some sort of inkling to do with sort of the darkness in Welsh psychology maybe though as well, sort of a gloomy mentality about the world there. Right, so I have to warn you right there, but kind of, the transitions for this slide presentation are going to be very, very cheesy right there. But I like it there. But Wales and the world there. Why stop with the world there? Like, we live in a vast kind of a universe there, so this presentation is about kind of Wales and the worlds there. Apparently there's about 16 or 17 dimensions sort of out there which we can like explore, I think, as well. And in this record it hints about kind of a sense of kind of exceeding cultural boundaries and geography to go to other kind of places there. So anybody follow the pledroi? Well, in this song they've sort of built a rocket in Coch, Gwyn and Gwyrdd, and they kind of go to explore kind of the galaxies and kind of create like new colonies in outer space there, and to put a Welsh kind of a flag onto the moon there as well there. But what I like about it as well, right, it is about ideas about sort of science fiction as well there. A lot of kind of Welsh art and Welsh novels doesn't sort of explore like science fiction. Science fiction is where like outer space meets sort of inner space there. So it's like this sort of deep psychological space to sort of investigate. So if you're familiar with the film, Tarkovsky's film Solaris, it sort of deals with that idea where you go to outer space and what you encounter is basically yourself there. And actually, when the pledrai go into space there, what they find there is hiraeth there. But there's a longing for whales there. And they kind of get sort of depressed in space there. Also, it's in terms of the pledrai, which means the rays there, is that this group who are amateurs, but they're actually kind of working in Celfyddydau of nuclear plants there. So hence, like, they were called the rays, or the pledrai there. So they were interested in sort of science, modernity, etc., and it filters into the records there. The B-sides for this is quite interesting as well. It's called kind of a dim ond y fi sydd ar ôl. Right, I'm the only one left, it means. Either because they've gone to outer space, right, and left them all behind, or it's about like a kind of nuclear war there, which was quite appropriate for them working in Celfyddydau plants. Right. Pledrai, that rocket fach ni was actually kind of released in May 1969. Is it coincidence or not, right? I mean, I was called into my headmaster's study, probably at the same time as the record was released there, to receive this prize there. I got a prize in art. I was a 6-year-old there. I painted like a fish shop in Trumsaran there. And I won a book. Now the book I won was this, Children of the World there. And here we got nice, happy, smiley children like in best of national costumes. So excited that I didn't get caning for some reason. I just got some sort of surprise there. And so I'm going through the book. And you see, kind of go A, who's done in alphabetical order, you get the Argentinian kids in their national costume, and so on. When you get kind of in England, you get people wearing kind of a Morris dancing. You go to Sweden, Holland, they're wearing their costumes. Scotland, they're wearing their little kilts there. Ireland as well, wearing kind of greenish leprechaun outfits. And then you got started going to kind of the last part of the alphabet, so you're excited going to W there. And unfortunately, kind of Wales wasn't represented in it there. And then, as like a 6-year-old, you think, well, why aren't we included in this thing there? And because at that age, that you can't really articulate those types of ideas, but there's like a sense of disappointment there. So in a way, right, that sense of creating some sort of visibility about one's culture is quite important there. And how we find the right types of images to represent ourselves to the world there. And costumes are very, very important there. And now with the Welsh national costume, right, now it's like a fiction. Created by a lady, Llanelli there as well. Right? But with costumes are quite interesting because they kind of locate identity and they give some role and status there. And maybe it's lucky in that book that the Welsh costume wasn't put in there, because I might have been traumatised if my representation was in that book there. And I think I read it, it says that Welsh woman looking after piggy. Part of this talk is going to kind of deal with sort of, kind of Welsh cultural sort of relationships to animals though, as well. Because Welsh culture is fairly quite elemental. Land, nature and animals are important to us there. But also kind of with costumes right there, very some displays of stereotypes as well, right? And maybe that we can become sort of complicit in playing up to sort of stereotypes and how we represent ourselves to the world. If the stereotypes don't work or fit anymore, that we need to find new ones there.